Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Red Brothers Pod. I'm Victor.
And I'm Alex.
And we're joining you guys today here after the unfortunate defeat to Brighton.
Well, I don't think anyone cares.
No.
I don't think we care.
I
don't think the team cares.
Don't get me wrong, again, it was like the Arsenal game. Less so because obviously
Arsenal's different, yeah.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to win, but at the end of the day, I don't care.
Yeah.
In terms of Sunday versus Palace, I really want to win that.
Yeah, I see why, but I think that game's going to be one big party. I mean, Palace
We're
winning
there
the
for the
FA
party.
Cup, amazing. We won the Prem, amazing. There's going to be good vibes, no hatred. They're just going to be just chilling, innit?
And yeah, we'll be there for the party on the Monday, the big celebration.
So big episode coming out, expect that. Similar to the against Spurs when we went out to Liverpool. Similar episode, nice little travel vlog. Yeah, it will be amazing, so tune in for that.
Yeah, make sure to check it out, guys, when it does come out. It'll definitely be exciting and a bit of different content from us, obviously. We're still expanding and finding out, what sort of people like and what they don't. And thank you for everyone that watched that Spurs video. I think it was our most successful video so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great to see you guys, and thank you everyone for all the support throughout the podcast. Obviously, you guys are the reason we do this, so we all appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's been an amazing season. Probably the best season to start the podcast.
For sure. We definitely started on a peak, didn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
I think the first game we spoke about was the Ipswich 4-1.
Yeah, that was an amazing game.
It just
to
went
start
from
about.
there. And
so
I mean, crazy.
The stars.
Anyway, so yeah, Brighton, I think the sort of the most interesting talking points of the game was exactly what I was saying on last week's pod about Szoboszlai dropping deeper with a potential transfer from Wirtz. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence that now we've wrapped up the league and now all of a sudden we're seeing Szoboszlai starting the six alongside, I can't remember who was in midfield with him. Was it?
I ain't got a scoop yet.
Was it Gravenberch?
Yeah.
No, I think he got McAllister definitely was rested, so I think it was Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and Elliott in the 10. So it was interesting to see that, and I think that what we sort of picked up right away was his distribution from deep. I think there was a couple of times
a few
where
good balls,
he was sending them long over the top and they were landing on the wingers perfect, and I think that, as a first sort of cameo in that deeper role, it was quite impressive.
Yeah, and when we signed him, we didn't expect him to play in such a deep position.
Never.
But same goes for Gravenberch, and same goes for maybe for McAllister.
And this is the thing, even if you look at Gerrard, predominantly he was an attacking midfielder throughout his career, but obviously, of course, as he got older and his legs went a little bit, he dropped deeper, but he was still dropping deeper, and he was one of them that could do it all. And I think that to be a midfielder like that, you have to have the physicality, you have to have the work rate, you have to have the legs, and I think that Szoboszlai has all those key...
he definitely fits.
Exactly. So it's interesting to see Szoboszlai drop deeper. I think it was a better performance from him, and he scored a goal from deeper. So it was definitely interesting and impressive, and obviously not only were we sort of setting up to see how Wirtz would look in the system, which would have played Harvey's position, but of course with Frimpong coming in and with the stronger links now to Kerkez, very interesting to see how obviously we're looking to shape up next season.
Yeah, and I definitely, like you said, it's definitely not a coincidence that we're trying these things out as the links of Wirtz have gotten stronger.
And I think that as we've gone on and as this Wirtz situation has sort of prevailed itself in front of us, it is more now likely that there is that opportunity that we will actually sign him. At first when we saw the rumours, I think you and I both kind of just went, it's probably just a bidding war between City and and Bayern, and they're using the name of Liverpool to up the price. But now obviously with City prioritising Morgan Gibbs-White and the relationship between Bayern and Wirtz being bad,
worse.
It opens up that lane for Liverpool to swoop in and obviously pick up a world-class player. Now, obviously, in terms of Leverkusen, they, of course, don't want to sell to Bayern, as I'm pretty sure all the Bundesliga clubs are sick of all their best players going to their competition. So I think that it'd be well within the realms of possibility that Leverkusen would sell to Liverpool and at a discounted price.
And he's such a marquee, like a marquee youngster. He's the youngster that he's just the youngster that everyone kind of wants. And it's amazing that we're finally chasing a big name. This don't happen too often.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, you know, why this deal's become attractive to us is obviously, I'm not sure if we covered it on the pod before, but I think me and you definitely spoke about this, and it was that replacement of Trent's creativity. So obviously that then goes to show with Szoboszlai dropping deeper that we're clearly looking for a more creative 10, as obviously Szoboszlai is great with a lot of things, but his creativity isn't his strongest asset. So I think that with losing Trent and bringing in Frimpong, who isn't that same type of player, because no one is, let's be honest, I think that obviously with Frimpong coming in, we're looking to make that focal creative point a different position in the team, and as long as we keep the same output, it doesn't matter where that creative input comes from, whether it's from right back, left back, centre mid, it doesn't matter as long as it's there. So I think that that's obviously why we've looked at Verts as a key signing, and I think that, you know, it's one of them ones where it's like a monumental one, like Van Dijk was, like Alisson was, all these big transfers that we made that put us on that top European pedestal, and I think this is yet another one
and
of
I think it's going to have a similar effect, and I'm really confident looking at the links. And if we're successful with these transfers, and I really, really hope we are, I'm so confident we can compete in Europe next season.
Of course, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we still won the group this season. A lot of people forget that. We were probably the unluckiest team to win the league and then play PSG.
The finalists.
Exactly. So I think that we was just really unlucky. We did what we had to do in the group. Obviously, they had a poor start to the season, which then put them in that position to come up against us after the playoffs. But I think that, you know, we could have competed this year had it been a different draw, whatever. But, you know, those are all if, buts and maybes. But I think you're definitely right to sort of highlight that for next season, as I think that would be like, you know, the key goal to sort of, you know, wrap this group of players up. Obviously, we'll be then having a year left on Van Dijk and Virgil, with them close to retiring age. I don't see a world where they extend, unless we extend them to then sell them for more money, which again at their age is really unlikely. So I think, you know, for players like Van Dijk and Salah, it's going to be key for them this season to add another trophy, a European trophy to their cabinets, to you know, put them in their conversations for the sort of the legends of the Premier League that they should be, because a lot of rival fans will look at trophies and say as to why Van Dijk or Salah couldn't be in there with the top of the top. But at the end of the day, if we're going off performances, they very much are, and if we're going off trophies, you know, they've brought this club so much success.
Well, I mean, if we're going off trophies, then Jack Grealish just competes with Salah, but that's not exactly how football works. You know what I mean?
So exactly, and you know, I think the numbers speak for themselves, the performances speak for themselves, and obviously, you know, with Arsenal now going 3 years without a trophy, I think that highlighted to the rest of the league really how hard it is to overcome City. And I really hope, because this should be the case, that as time goes on, people start appreciating these Liverpool sides more, because like we established a couple of weeks ago, it would have been 8 Premier Leagues in a row for City if Liverpool didn't stop.
And I don't get it, because these rival fans hate that we win it, but if we don't win it, we're going to have another Bundesliga.
Exactly.
Where they win.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I made the other week, and you're right. And 8 in a row, like, come on. I think the only other league that's happened in is Germany with Bayern.
Scotland.
And yeah, exactly, when Rangers were in the second division or whatever. So that's exactly my point. So, you know, people say all of this shit about how, you know, PGMOL, whatever, COVID title was the first one. They always find a way to try to diminish it. But I think give it 10 or 20 years and people will look back at these Liverpool sides and go, wow, they're the ones that broke the mould, because no one else could break City apart.
Yeah. And I hope we can continue this. Next season, it's so promising. Like I said, I'm hoping for European glory.
With the transfers that, you know, the one transfer we've got that's come in already, and the potentials coming in, you know, I don't see why not.
Yeah, and we're excited for a reason.
Exactly.
We have the right to be
Of
excited.
course, I think it all depends on obviously what the other clubs do in the window as well. Obviously, if Arsenal go out there and sign a Rodrigo, a Gyökeres, and then obviously with Zubimendi coming in already, you know, they look really strong. You look at City, you know, who are they going to bring in to replace De Bruyne? Obviously, Gibbs White is linked, who is already a very good proven Premier League player, but you're looking at some of the other options they could bring in, and obviously there's always that possibility for them to strengthen. You know, Chelsea, financial juggernaut, you never know where they're going to be next season, but with the right signings, they could be in that conversation for the league. So we have to definitely just focus on ourselves and make the most of what we can do, and obviously hope that the other teams slip up along the way. And I think that goes for both the transfer window and the next season.
Yeah, and to be honest, I do think that Chelsea might be a team that might be challenging us for the title in the next few years.
I'm not saying
more
win
so
it.
than Arsenal.
I'm not saying win it for Chelsea, but I mean, I can definitely see how they'd compete.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I think it's quite embarrassing that they're not competing at the minute or haven't for the last few years.
If you look at the players they're signing, they're not really signing too much established players.
But it doesn't matter about that. That again, that's embarrassing from the club because it shows poor recruitment. The recruitment is good in 10 years' time, but the thing is, you need players here and now. Exactly, and that's where the misbalance is in the Chelsea squad. Is they've got too many of them young players and not enough experience to be the glue that holds them all together. So if you look at our team, predominantly we've got quite young players. You know, of course, Alisson is one of those older players that I was talking about being the glue. But if you look at our team, it'd be Alisson, Robbo, Van Dijk, Salah. And that's the spine of the team, the experienced senior players that have been there, they've done it all, they've seen it all, and they've overcome it all. And then you start adding these younger guys like a McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch. Obviously, Diaz is getting on a little bit now, but Gakpo when he came in, you know, potentially Kirkes, and obviously now Frimpong, and that's how you build these great sides that are really competitive because they've got just the right amount of everything. Because just like anything in life, really, it's all about balance.
It is,
and whether that's my balance in midfield, having a balanced back line, everything needs to be balanced. So I think that that's obviously where Chelsea have been missing out, and why I think that they're not where we expect them to be with the money they've spent, considering it's been over $1 billion.
But same goes with United, and they're even worse off because they spend this much money and they're near relegation.
Tottenham have just won a trophy and they beat Manchester United in a final.
Imagine you told someone that like
10 years ago,
5 years ago,
Well, they played in a Champions League final against us 5 years ago.
Yeah, so let's go back 10 years.
I think no one thought they were winning that. But yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, exactly, it's crazy. They've broken their 17-year trophy drought.
Amazing. I actually think it's amazing.
I'm really happy for Spurs. I think that they deserve it, and you know they've been through so much hardship and misfortune. Obviously, with that final against us, having that handball in the first minute, it's so unfortunate.
Yeah,
but it was the right decision in my opinion. Still, it happens. Yeah, so I think they deserve it, and you know it's good to see. And that Ange quote of "I always win something in my second season" has now become absolutely iconic and will be my driving point to pain all Manchester United fans for the foreseeable future.
It's amazing to see Manchester United fans suffering.
They've lost the European final and gone trophyless, whilst Liverpool have just wrapped up their 20th league title. How does that sound?
Amazing.
Incredible.
I mean, I think we know who the biggest team in England is.
I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this.
Literally,
bro. Honestly, like it's ridiculous, and I'm so happy that I'm a Liverpool fan, bro.
It's such an amazing season. It's such
everything about
City
it.
haven't won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Arsenal trophyless. United, not like they're so trophyless.
They're so trophyless. They might be homeless soon.
Yeah,
Old Trafford's falling down. They've gone trophyless.
No, but
they're so ridiculously in debt, which they now can't pay off because they haven't got the money.
They didn't get to the Champions League. Yeah,
they can't bring in new players because who the fuck wants to go there?
They're trying to bring in Cunha. Is that already a done deal?
That's pretty much done. But I mean, to be fair, Again,
again, 60 mil for what? Like, it's a good player. It's a good player. Yeah, I know it's a good player, but how many times have they signed someone and we're thinking that like they're all gassing them up to be the best next this and this?
Yeah, you're right. We're
and
just gonna have to see how it works in obviously United's system and their style of play and how it goes.
United love to ruin a good player.
Oh yeah,
just love it.
So many Di Maria, Pogba. I can carry on. I'm not gonna out of choice, but I could carry on for days.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. Look at Anthony. Look at what he's doing at Betis now.
I mean, even if you're thinking like the players they had like not even that long ago, like Anthony Ugarte was a good signing. Euro who came in.
I think Euro's the only one that they can get given credit for. But then again, they still overpaid on his wages. He's 19, earning 150k a week.
There you go.
And the only reason was because Real Madrid wanted him and they just offered ridiculous wages to secure him, which obviously brilliant. You've secured a great player that can turn out to be really successful at the club, but you're going to be paying at a premium his whole career. So you have fun with that.
And Onana is get me in that goal, mate. I'll actually do a better job. You just pay me £100 a week, and
I can't believe that goal that went in last night in that final.
So bad. It was so like it's such an Onana goal to concede as well. Like
instead of he had an opportunity to just scoop it out of the goal, get it away. And he scooped it into the net, into the goal to make it a goal.
If I had to bet my family's life, their life on the line, and they had to describe what type of Onana goal would he concede in that final, it would be that. I could literally draw that out to them because, sorry, but that was so ironic. The fact that Onana on a big night, he could maybe make up for his past errors, save his club season because they got Champions League despite being 17th, and
it's all down the drain. But anyways, what I did want to cover, and I think that you'll really like this topic, is Conor Bradley.
Oh my, I love him, you know.
That assist for Diaz was incredible. He
so
nutmegs
amazing.
the defender, runs through, he fake passes it, and the defenders go with the fake, and then it opens up just a sea of space for him to pass into Diaz and finish.
It's some right, we're missing out on Trent's long balls from 40 yards out, but we've got an alternative, and it's amazing.
And the way that he gets up that pitch and he overlaps, underlaps, does everything so right, and it's just so good to see that. It's another academy lad, first of all. Of course, we did buy him from somewhere, but, he's been through our youth system. We've got him ready for first-team football. And not only is he ready for first-team football, he's thriving, he's excelling. And he's having really good performances regularly. So if we can just keep him fit next season, again, him and Frimpong rotating, it looks really dangerous.
Really. And I'm so excited for next season.
We're going to be a different beast in the fullback regions.
I can't say it enough. I genuinely can't. Conor Bradley is amazing. Frimpong's amazing. I can't wait. I genuinely
Maybe
can't
it was
wait.
A blessing in disguise that Trent left.
Maybe. See, everything happens for a reason, and I think that is true in football as well.
Because the way I was thinking about it is obviously Slot's come in and he's put an emphasis on keeping the ball, possession, control being the key. Now, what Trent gives you is unpredictability. It gives you the unexpected. It gives you, like you said, 50-yard ball over the top perfectly to the winger. But it doesn't give you that stability. He'll go for the riskier option and look at the risk versus reward. Even if it's not worth it, he's trying it, which I admire about him as a player, and I respected it whilst he was at Liverpool. But I think what it will allow us to do with him no longer being there is have that full control and a chokehold on games like we want to, by pushing our fullbacks up high, by using the midfielders to drop in and play that system that we've been seeing over the last few weeks. It just allows us that 5% more of control, but that's what makes the whole difference. And that could be a difference between, a game like PSG where we go out on penalties. That extra 5% of control that we can have could be the difference between us going through or going out.
Could have pushed us over the line then.
Exactly. Especially with how fine the margins were. So, it will be interesting to see how it all plays out and whether it will obviously, be a benefit to our style of play. Of course, we'll miss, like you said, the long passes, the crazy assists, the long balls. But
even if now I'm seeing Soboslai play deeper, he's doing the same.
Exactly.
So, like, if we take that away from this position, somebody's going to make up for it. And I used to argue, because there used to be so many statistics and slating for Trent that he used to lose possession so often.
Which
obviously,
is correct, 'cause he was a risk taker.
And I used to always argue in random TikTok comments or Instagram threads, and like obviously we know why he does it in 40-yard passes, and they're not always successful. But I think if we take away them maybe 10 odd times where we lose possession because of him, it can be maybe even the difference, like you said, pushing us over the line, a bit more control, more possession, which is what Arne Slot loves. We love that bit of high speed, like pass and move and getting up the pitch. So it's
exactly that. And yeah, it would be really interesting to see with obviously Frimpong and with all the other players that we could be bringing in. It would be interesting to see how we set up and how that system looks. Obviously, right now we can assume that it would look like that Brighton game with the fullbacks up high, Szoboszlai deeper, and obviously Wirtz playing in that same position Elliott played in. But yeah, really interesting, and it's good to get an insight, because we've won the league so early. It now allows us to start having that insight into next season, what our plans are, and obviously be active in the transfer window as well, because I promise you now, if there was a head-to-head title race that was still going into the last game of the season, we would have never have announced or brought Frimpong yet, because we'd have other priorities. So the fact that we've won the league nice and early, thanks Arsenal, has now allowed us to obviously, you know, start getting involved in transfers and start planning for next season, whilst teams are still concerned about this one, which again, massive benefit and massive head start to us.
Well, I got one question for you actually. What type of send-off do you think Trent's going to get at Anfield?
I don't know, mate, honestly. Like, it's sad. It really is sad. And, you know, it's going to be an emotional one. Whether that's going to be a positive or negative emotion, we'll have to see. But it'll definitely be emotional. I think that there'll be a split in the crowd. Naturally, there'll be fans at the stadium that will be bawling their eyes out, wishing him the best, you know, probably wishing that he stayed, and there'll be other fans that will be happy to see him out the door. It's just the way life goes at the end of the day, you know. You can't please everyone, you can't make everyone happy. He's made his decision, it is what it is. We've now moved on, and I think that why the club has announced Frimpong when they have, and well, they've not officially announced it yet, but why the deal was done when it was done, and why it was all fed back to Fabrizio Romano, was hopefully to lift Liverpool fans' spirits for that send-off.
Yeah, I agree. I think less fans are going to be as angry knowing that we've got a replacement in the door.
World-class replacement, exactly. And especially for only 29 million, because don't get me wrong, if we then had to spend 100 million to replace Trent, you know, we still wouldn't be happy, because that's a massive amount of our budget going on a replacement. Whereas when it's only 29 million pounds, whatever.
I don't mind it.
Should we do some player ratings then, or is there something you wanted to cover?
First, I want to cover some controversy I'd like to start in our comments. So, where do you stand in this Trent situation? Are you happy to see him leave, or like you said,
myself,
you yourself? Are you going to wish him good, or are you going to just be happy to get him gone?
I won't wish him, put it this way, I won't wish him well, because I don't like Real Madrid. I do not want them to succeed. I want them to fail. But I love Trent, and that's
the reality of it.
You know, like I was mentioning months ago and weeks ago, you know, I've been watching Trent be our right back ever since I was way younger than you. You know, I was starting out in secondary school, and then obviously around the time I was like in year 8, year 9, Trent come in, and then, you know, that whole sort of development into my adult life, Trent's been our right back, and he's been the scouser in our team. You know, I've had his name on my shirts, I've sang his songs. It's really sad, because he's one of my favourite players, and he's one of them ones that I looked at in the same regards as Gerrard is. He's the scouser, he's never going to leave, he's our captain. Even if he isn't captain now, he's still captain, because he's the scouser in our team. So for me, it's going to be an emotional one, probably in a sad way rather than a negative way. It's going to be sad to see him go, but look, the deed's done. He's made his choice. We've moved on. He's moved on, and hopefully we'll be able to, see what happens next season. Well, we will see what happens next season. Not hopefully.
Well, I think you're sitting on the fence a bit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I'm going to fully go to one side, and this is my opinion, truly. I think I'm still mad at how the business was done.
Don't get me wrong, you're right, but I think what you would have missed out on is you would have seen plenty of Trent moments, but you would have missed out on a lot of them, a lot of symbolic Liverpool history moments, you would have missed. Whereas, I was there present for all of them. Yeah. So it's hard for me to de-associate myself from that and detach myself from that, because that was such a massive part of my life, all those big moments, I live and breathe for the football and for Liverpool especially. So these things really stick with me. So again, it's going to be an emotional one, but I think the reason I sit on the fence is it's because it's Real Madrid. I'm not going to wish him well because I don't want Madrid to do well, but I'm going to miss him and I'm going to resent him and I'm going to have that sad feeling in me from him leaving because of the influential figure, not he became in my life, but in a way that he did.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely like, when you think of Liverpool, you think of Trent.
Well, you think of Gerrard first, and if Gerrard doesn't come to mind, it will be Trent.
Exactly.
And there's a reason for that, but unfortunately it won't be the case anymore.
Yeah, I think we can move on to player ratings now.
I think we can. Alisson in goal. Pulled off loads of worldies, to be fair.
Yeah, but you can see this 3, which makes it seem like it would like a
6.
Worst performance. Yeah,
6. Yeah, I think concedes 3, but he still pulled off loads of worldies. Obviously rotated, chopping and changing in defence and midfield, so it happens.
Yeah.
Centre backs, it was Quansah and Konate.
So Quansah, I think ironically, every time he plays, our defence is horrible. However, this time I don't even think it was his fault. I don't think he played all that bad. However, it's still ironic we concede 3 the game he starts.
Yeah, and I think, look, at the end of the day, Quansah and Konate, I don't think they were the greatest that day. They did get run ragged a little bit. They allowed for a few too many opportunities for my liking. So I'd probably give them around a 6 as well, probably.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Conor Bradley.
9.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we've got to. I mean,
it's
just so amazing, and it's just the way he plays is so different from Trent. Yeah, it's still so offensive and it's so attractive as well. I love watching him play.
Man, he's all out and out fullback, right back. He does the job and he does it really well, don't he? Now, on the left, it was Shimikas. I think he was dog shit.
It's so... I don't think that...
Alex, the only reason you keep defending Shimikas is because you like his song. Can you just admit that, please?
Yeah, okay.
Shimikas was dog shit. He was getting beat every 2 minutes. He didn't have his winger under control at all. He put in a fucking corner that went out of play before it went into play, which, how does that even make sense? So for me, Shimikas gets a 5.
Yeah.
Szoboszlai, deep.
I think we can give him an 8.5.
Yeah, scores the goal. Good distribution out the back and impressive performance.
Very good performance.
And Gravenberch next to him.
We can give him a 7.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of an anonymous appearance from Gravenberch, not in a regard that he did anything wrong, but at the same time
he didn't do anything.
Yeah, great.
Outstanding.
So yeah, just an average Gravenberch 7.
Yeah.
Obviously, then we've got Elliot in the 10, scores the goal. But I do think his decision making was a bit off at times. I would probably give him a 7.5.
Yeah, and I think that is something we do see sometimes with Elliot, because he's amazing technically. Probably one of the best at the team.
I can't believe he's
so
English and not Spanish or something.
That's what I'm saying. He's so technical. It's so amazing to see him play, but sometimes he'll make the wrong decision.
He's still a young player. Look, these things take years to sort of drill into players with the right decisions.
He's got the potential to be great,
especially with confidence as well. When he doesn't play, I'm not surprised, but he still gets the goal.
Well, I've seen some links of him leaving.
Yeah, so apparently we're willing to listen to offers from anywhere to 40 to 50 million. which is a bargain for Harvey Elliott. If I was a Brighton or a West Ham, I'd be all over that deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, at the end of the day, it is really sad, and Harvey Elliott is one of my favourite players. But if him leaving is going to help us improve as a squad and bring in Wirtz, I can't be mad at that, I'll be honest.
I agree.
But I think Elliott will still stay as a rotation option. I think that Szoboszlai will become a deeper option.
Yeah.
Endo will be phased out a little bit. I mean, we still need another deeper midfielder as we speak now. So maybe rather than signing one, Szoboszlai drops a deeper. Endo stays as the other rotation option. And then obviously we interchange Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai and Endo. And then in that number 10, we can obviously interchange Elliott and Wirtz.
And maybe even Szoboszlai time to time.
Exactly. So now on the right wing, obviously it was Salah and misses an open goal.
It's disappointing. I need him to get them assists. I need him to get
2
them
versus Palace. That's all we need.
It's sad because he's so close to
and
having.
He deserves it, man.
He does. This is the season. He deserves the Ballon d'Or. He deserves the Golden Boot. He's going to get it.
But I'm just afraid with his latter part of the season form that it's just going to take him right out of the conversation.
Probably.
Because I think the stat was in 12 games he's got 1 open play goal, which for a player of that level isn't good enough. And
it's true.
And it's
ever
weird.
Since them PSG games. That's what it is. I think.
This happens every season. Every season, Salah has a blinder for the first half of the season. It gets to around January time. Obviously, now, guys, I don't want you to take this the wrong way at all, but obviously Salah is Islamic. He fasts for Ramadan, and it seems like after that Ramadan period, every season he seems to start dropping off, and it's been something that's happening like 2022 where we went for the quadruple. You know, Salah was getting Ballon d'Or shouts, scoring hat-tricks away at Old Trafford, you know, scoring every week, scoring that dribble goal versus City and Norwich and Watford, just scoring absolute worldies. And then it gets to the second half of the season, and again he went about 10 or so games without scoring from open play, and
taking him completely out of the Ballon d'Or shout.
So it's a shame, and I think that he gets a 6 for this performance, misses the open goal, didn't really, just toothless performance again. But hey, we've won the league. Who cares?
Yeah.
Up front, it was Chiesa. Finally, this man is alive. Can you believe it?
I don't know. I thought they found him somewhere. I don't even know. I don't know what happened to him. They might have lost him. You're playing hide and seek. No one ever found him.
He got lost in the under-21s. But again, with Chiesa, look, you can just see he's got no confidence. You can see he's got no minutes in his legs.
I think he's gonna leave, and it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad because I was really excited by that transfer, and I think you were too. But hey, it's the luck of the draw.
Hopefully
sometimes.
We get a profit on it. I doubt it.
Well, even if we don't, mate, even if we lose 4 million quid, who cares? It's nothing in today's market, and you know, it opens up wages and another slot in the squad. So it is what it is. Diaz, I think did well. Yeah, scores the goal, the first, obviously dangerous throughout as he always seems to be, and I think Diaz can get an 8. And I think about wrap us up.
Yeah, I think Diaz has been on quite not even that bad form recently.
Well, recently he's been probably our best player. The last couple of games, you know, scores against West Ham.
It makes you think, does he just not drink alcohol?
What?
We just won the title. Everyone's been pissed, and he's just.
Oh, okay. You lost me completely there, mate. Yeah, maybe Diaz is also Muslim.
Mate, I doubt it. He's from Colombia. That's
quite a stretch. But hey, he's playing like he's not drinking, so maybe there is.
Maybe
a
you
reason.
just don't like alcohol, innit? It's not for everyone.
So yeah, on that note, I think it's about time for us to wrap this up with. As you guys can see, we've gone slightly off topic. But yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning in yet again. And the next video you'll be seeing from us will be some content after the Palace game and from the parade.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys.